I have a lot of libertarian friends that have even had debates on this, that political action is useless. Don't do it, it's worthless. The only thing counts are ideas. In a way, that is sort of true, but the other side of that is if you have purity of thought academically, but it never reaches the grassroots, it's never translated, what good is it? So I would say that the founders of the country were both. You know, they knew what they believed in, they were well informed, and they were very well educated. But I would say that the revolution was a bit of political action that had a great deal of significance. So we do have to get very much involved eventually. But the real answer to that is if somebody is more inclined to teaching and promoting just the purity of ideas and free markets and how it's supposed to work, so be it. You know, let them do it. It's very important that we have teachers and people in the media promoting these ideas or spreading these ideas on the internet. But then there are others that might be more inclined to be involved in politics. Mises said that, and he talks about this, he talks about people who are academicians and promote and write about sound economic ideas. But he also said that there should be others who would take those ideas and make them palatable to the average person. And I'd like to think that I contribute to that because we work real hard, concentrating on those issues, but taking the ideas and making them acceptable, making them so that they don't scare people. Our opposition are determined to make us look, you know, frightening. Oh, they're radicals, they're extremists. They're extremists, they believe in a balanced budget. They believe that you shouldn't even go to war unless it's declared. They believe the government shouldn't counterfeit money. You know, all these really, really bad ideas that could lead to all kinds of problems, like prosperity and peace and a lot of things like that. So they paint us as the extremists. But what our job is, whether you're in the political ideas or in teaching, is to take the ideas and make sure they no longer seem extreme. And say, you know, this is pretty modest stuff. You know, that your life belongs to yourself, and that you ought to be able to do what you want as long as you don't hurt people. It just doesn't seem so extreme to me. Oh, is that sort of like you're allowed to have your own religious beliefs and the government's not supposed to regulate your religion? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but we couldn't possibly let you decide what you put in your own body. We can let you decide what you can put in your mind and your soul, and that's not that important. But what you put in your body, we need the government to tell us what to do. So I think it's taking those ideas, and it seems where I have found a lot of support and where I'm encouraged is that young people seem to be able to grasp this. It seems like many others who have been around long, their brains have been beat down by the system, the educational system, the political system, and on and on. I say, oh no, you can't do that. A lot of people ask me, you know, I've been doing this for a couple of years, and they say, how can you go back and forth to Washington? Like, we vote again. We're in session on Monday. How do you manage to go back and forth? Don't you get real frustrated with all that? And you know, the truth is I don't get frustrated. I don't get frustrated at all. I just don't have high expectations. I don't expect to create a miracle. Matter of fact, because I try to have honest expectations, and they were pretty accurate for about 25 years or so, that nobody paid any attention. There was no lightning and a few people here and there. But all of a sudden, something has happened in this country. Our problems have gotten worse. There's a vacuum out there in both political parties. Foreign policy is in total shambles. We have adopted the Bush doctrine of preventative war. We have a budget totally out of control. And we have a monetary system that it doesn't make any sense. And all of a sudden, there's a lot more people interested in what we're talking about. So we're going to fill that vacuum. We're going to fill that vacuum created by authoritarians and fill it up with the belief in individual liberty. don't know if you remember, during the campaign there were certain TV stations that weren't exactly friendly toward us and our views, and didn't get very many interviews, and when I did, they weren't exactly friendly. And they could be in a station considered to be conservative and friendly to freedom and all this. But you know what? Since, and I would never use a name like Fox or anything like that, but since the campaign's been over, I don't know what the numbers are, but I think that not too long ago I was told that we had about 30 interviews on Fox, and it's a lot more since then. Sometimes it's two times a day, especially if you add up Fox Business and all. They're certainly still not, Fox is still not a bit receptive to the idea that we should be a little more restrained in our foreign affairs. But one thing that's helping us right now, a bit, as Republicans and conservatives, is all of a sudden, when Obama does it, it's really bad. So now it's okay a little bit more to restrain ourselves in what we do. But things are coming together, and that's why I want to encourage you. And I think that there's no doubt that you can and will and are making a difference. And in many ways, it's only beginning. I mean, the whole burst of energy in this area just really has occurred these last couple of years. I see it that it's always been there. It's never been totally dormant. The whole idea is about free market economics, and sound money, and all these issues. Because when I first got interested in the 1950s, I was influenced a lot by Leonard Read, his Foundation for Economic Education. We didn't have the internet. We certainly didn't have it in our colleges, but I came across Hayek's book and then heard about the Foundation, and the Foundation was republishing books like The Law and other books by Mises. But today there's a lot of organizations like that, and of course the internet, so it's so readily available. But it was smoldering for a long, long time. But lately there's been like an explosion of interest. And I think it's just a lot of things coming together for us, because it's the crisis that we're in, and people know, and they're getting scared. Young people, are they guaranteed a job? No, they know that it might be tough. They hear that the real numbers may be that 20% of the people are unemployed. And, last year they doubled the money supply, and they're understanding that. I'm just utterly amazed about how many young people, understand and are interested intensely in the Federal Reserve System. That's pretty amazing.